Since 2015, I plan an annual camping trip to Minnesota's Boundary Water Canoe Area Wilderness. We look forward all year long to the week we get to pack our paddles, wander up to the wilderness, enjoy the atmosphere, and find some fish to fry. Some years we're even lucky enough to go twice. The Boundary Waters is a place like no other, uniquely untouched and purposely peaceful. We use our time here to relax and recenter while reconnecting with friends and family. We usually start out at the grandparents' cabin in northern Wisconsin, doing last-minute packing and finalizing plans. This year we just recorded it. My name's Emily.
I'm Mike.
My name's Tim Data.
It's Anna.
Everybody should know me. I'm Mike Popovich, also known as Uncle Mucka.
Hi, I'm Glenn.
We look back on past year's trips, tell stories, and laugh. And we look forward to the trip to come.
Just for everybody to be safe, stay healthy, catch a few fish, catch a few memories, being with my girls, it'll be fun. My son-in-law, my brother-in-law, and Tim, my buddy.
This trip, I'm looking forward to, the people. It's mainly about the people that you go with, and creating memories with them.
Everybody being together. Being with my sister, my baby sister. Watching her grow up.
Being with Uncle Mike again.
Ooh, just stepping back, relaxing, fishing.
Fishing. It's always fishing. Eating fish.
It's all about working together and, coming to having a safe week.
And even though the camp daddy doesn't go on trips anymore, he can't help but get just as excited. He loves this time of year just as much as the rest of us.
Oh, nope, I just hope you have a good trip and a safe one and enjoy the portages. I could probably do a portage, but I can't get out of a canoe. I gotta roll out. But Anna's good to be with because she helped me. I grab a paddle and get up with it. I miss going. I do. But it's fun to see you guys get ready to go and have a good time.
Then we drove through Duluth, up Highway 61, stopping for lunch in Grand Marais, and eventually crashing in a bunkhouse at Tuscarora Outfitters.
Good morning.
So we woke up in the morning and headed to the mess hall for a nice hot breakfast. I don't know if it was because it was early, if Uncle Mike already smelled bad, or the coronavirus pandemic, but we were the only ones around. Every year is different. Sometimes new lakes, other times new faces, but we start off every trip plan with a goal. The goal this year was not to ruin anyone's time in the woods. I planned a trip in 2018 that Grandpa would later dub a vacation ruiner.
You lost your shoe?
I got it.
Oh, I'm coming. No!
They invited me onto the most memorable Boundary Waters trip ever. They sent me a map with the route laid out, and it was a long red portage line over 1.5 miles carrying heavy packs through knee-deep murky water, up rocky hills, and as luck would have it, it rained the entire day.
All right. In efforts not to ruin anyone's vacation, we kept it simple this year. Targeted a walleye spot just 3 portages in from the launch, and It was far enough away to keep us busy for a few hours, but close enough that we didn't worry too much about packing heavy. And we always pack heavy. Now, this trip was over 4th of July, so we were concerned about securing a campsite, let alone a campsite on our lake of choice. So Mike and Tim offered to paddle Cross Bay ahead of the group and scout the lake. We were thankful when they brought back good news, and we ended up moving into a beautiful site, high and dry at the south end of the lake.
I threw everything that looked like yours into the tent.
We really did have a nice setup. The site was spacious, and while lots of other folks have certainly stopped there, it was in good shape. Anna's hammock was in a breezy spot with a view. I was more secluded, and thanks to Tim, my tarp stakes have never been more secure.
Nothing in.
I don't think we're getting this out.
Okay.
All the boys were up top on the flat rock that overlooked camp. Friends and family always ask about the weather during our trip. Wind and rain can certainly be a bummer. On this trip, it sprinkled or stormed just about every day. When the storms rolled in, you could usually find Mike looking north from the site's outcropping.
Here comes a gust.
Watching for the storm front to rip across the water. The ironic part of all this is, even though it rained every day, there was a fire ban. The Boundary Waters had been as dry as it had been in 20 years. So we took our daily dose of rain gratefully. There is something to be said about being in a tent or a hammock beneath massive trees as they sway and creak during a thunderstorm. The wind was even strong enough one night to displace Anna's tarp, exposing her face and inviting rain into her sleeping bag. With a few adjustments and reinforced knots, she made it through till the morning. The one great thing about rain, it's a good excuse to play cards.
I'll play that any other way.
Not that we need an excuse.
6 and 7.
Hey.
Don't get me wrong, the best time of a rainstorm is when it stops.
See you on the water.
One evening when the rain stopped, a mist washed over the lake. It was stunning. It was the most picturesque conditions I've ever experienced on the Gunflint. We didn't miss the opportunity to experience it. Everyone grabbed their fishing poles or their cameras and hopped into a canoe. Did you catch anything?
Beautiful evening.
It's easy enough to be enamored with the outdoors when it looks like this. Like most things, you take good days in the Boundaries alongside the bad. This evening just happened to be outstanding. Even though it looks like we're shooting a commercial for Winona Canoe, we were really out there to wet some lines and reel a few in. That is a great sound.
Wind is picking up.
But when we hear this, we're kind of thinking of this. That is, after plenty of this.
You got bones?
Got some bones. Uncle Mike played them. Yeah.
We were really fortunate this year with bringing in plenty of eater walleye and a few smallies. The owner of Tuscarora Outfitters, Andy, has a summer fishing mantra: fish early, fish late, fish deep. The only thing we would add is keep your fish out of reach of these guys. The camp snappers were massive and would consume anything left unattended on a stringer. We learned that the hard way. The best fishing we had was the morning we opted to make coffee, skip breakfast, and catch what we needed in time for brunch. I mean, at this point, it kind of looks like we come up here just to eat, which is not completely untrue.
Plates? Oh, now you're talking my language. Those are hot peas. Hot peas, metal plate. Look at that, that's great. I like that.
So like that orange layer on top is just
Fat.
fat. Are they kind of, they smell the same, but maybe with some butter.
It was salted. Catch.
Nice steak.
For the record, we weren't the only ones eating good.
Oh, they feel weird.
We go up there to get out there. But like Uncle Mike said in the beginning, these trips are mainly about the people who you go with. Things might go wrong here or there. The weather might not always cooperate. But friends and family seem to find ways to bring the sunshine all the same.
Fade in, fade out. We should go like this.
When we look back on any given year, we each tend to remember different sets of stories, jokes, and mishaps.
Nobody's business.
For this trip, we're kinda lucky. We have dozens of video clips that we can rely on to jog the memories for years to come. What I remember about Uncle Mike on this trip is that he always kept busy. He was usually the first one up in the morning, usually with coffee in hand.
So good until that first storm. And I went back to bed and woke up at the second storm. So good, I was warm.
Often served as camp cook.
Time for the sizzle.
He was one of the first to rig up his fishing poles and would even go fish by himself if no one was up for it. He was always messing with something. At some point, he turned his attention to our makeshift canoe anchor, a basketball net. I admit that unless you know it's a basketball net, it does look like a mess of knotted rope. And a lot can happen when you leave this guy unsupervised. A basketball net is about 80 inches long and comprised of about 100 knots. And eventually that's what it became. We gave him a hard time about that all week. What stands out about the week with my sister is how much she's grown since her first trip.
It was in 2012, I think. And then we just went on Brule. We just stayed on Brule.
She's obviously gotten cooler. She's definitely gotten smarter. She listens, and she learns, and she does. She's always willing to help, even if she gets the short end of the stick.
Green, red, and no. Ready?
Pull!
She was usually up for anything, and she put up with me, so you have to give her credit. We paddled through a marsh one day, scooting the canoe through thigh-high mud and balancing on swamp logs to get to shore, just to see the lake's second waterfall. She can handle herself up there. Might be planning trips of her very own soon. Then, there's G-Dub. What a goof. He always got a few laughs.
Are you sleeping in the tent?
I'm sleeping in your tent.
I'll go
Out of any situation.
How many pull-locks does it take to fix an air mattress?
2.5. Who's the house?
Looks like a murder.
Nothing.
It's not a person, it's a mattress.
If we had to drown somebody, we would.
We'll drown those kids. Heavy.
Dad is a doer. He kept camp tidy. He's meticulous and has attention to detail, and because of that, he got to be in charge of the popcorn. It turns out these qualities have helped him keep this 10-year-old artifact of a baseball cap in such good condition. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right, Dad? Mike and Tim talk a big game when it comes to fishing. It's not like they caught every fish we ate. It just looks that way on camera. I mean, they caught a lot. Those two were quite the fishing duo.
Oh, it's a nice
They
one.
weren't bottom bouncing the Narrows on Cross Bay. They were on the hunt for trout a few lakes away.
Tim's got the canoe. I've got the stuff. We're en route to try to catch some brook trout. Maybe have a brook trout dinner. We'll see.
Mike obviously did most of the video recording, most of the trip. which means we don't have a lot of shots of him. But it also means that there's a lot of shots of Tim. They weren't all keepers, but he ended up with plenty of fish to choose from. Man, next year when we take bets, everybody's gonna put money on Tim. As for me, sometimes I get so wrapped up in just planning these trips that I forget to just sit back and enjoy. The times I enjoy most in the boundaries are when you get to say hello. You may say hello to a fish that you later release, or you may say hello to dinner. If you're the first one to wake up in the morning, you walk outside and feel just about as alone as you will ever be. But you, just you, can say hello to the sun and start your day. If you live in a populated area like me, most stars are drowned out by city lights. But up in the boundaries, you get to say hello to the night sky in a whole new way. Time spent here reconnecting with friends and family is remarkable. Like the Camp Daddy says, the only camaraderie you have is who's with you. Like anything, trips to the Boundary Waters all come to an end. But when you sign your permit to enter the Boundary Waters, you are agreeing to the Leave No Trace Code of Conduct. Over 100,000 people come to visit this quiet place every year. But it doesn't look like it. Keeping something pristine is not easy. But here, it's invaluable. And knowing that the wilderness should be just the same when we come back next time means that we don't have to say goodbye. So until next time, thank you so much for watching and sharing in this year's adventure. We'll see you on the water.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
All right. Like when you jig, you can just.
Oh, and we would use it for the dispatcher.
Oh. Well, bring it back in pieces then.
You good?
I'm good.
Good.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay.
Bye bye.
That's a wrap.
But I miss going. I could probably do a portage, but I can't get out of a canoe.